What is up, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to another post-commentary duel video today. And of course, we've got Atlantean Mermail versus Metalfoes. Hope you guys have been enjoying the past string of duel videos that have went up. Really do appreciate the support, especially on the Necroz versus Mermail video. And I know a lot of people were asking if you saw that video. If you were asking for the Necroz deck list. I can't really get it to you guys because I don't see that person very often. But if I do soon, maybe today at Locals, he'll be there. If he is, if not, oh well. I'll try to get either a list, like a video, or just try to get his list and make a YGO Pro video, so you guys at least have a list that you can look at. You can just get an idea of what he was playing. But of course, we are here in this video today playing Mermails versus Metalfoes as he resolves that Pot of Desires after setting 3 back row and going for a painful decision. Plenty of searching power and draw power on this first turn. We saw Summoner's Art. Really good card in the deck as he Pendulum summons out a Volflame, a Kirin, a Bambuku, and a Gold Driver, using one of his Metalfoes there in the scale to, I think, pop Bismugear, but I think he already used the effect that turn to pop something to search, but he is going to be getting that Bismugear end phase search. Pretty tough board to deal with, though. Well, luckily, I'm able to draw into the Book of Eclipse. I actually think I opened it, and I was just sitting there with a grin on my face, knowing that I got the out ready for a Kirin, because I've got the non-targeting shut off for that card. But he's able to go into Mithrilium to revive one of his Pendulums, which I think is a Steelin or a Silvered. And but I've got the Neptibus here, sending Dragoons, adding Marksman, or not Marksman, Infantry. I always get the two confused. Infantry and Megalo to my hand. Getting ready to start eating away at the board here. But a lot of monsters on the field, though. Going to make it very hard to OTK through this board. And now summoning Teus, discarding, I think, a Dragoons, and adding a Gun and a Marksman. Now, at this point, I think one of the mistakes I ended up making was trying to hard to pop his monsters when I should have popped the Pendulum Scales, because I made the mistake of not realizing the fact that I'm probably not going to go for a game this turn, and if I don't get rid of his scales, because he's definitely going to have another turn, I lose to the Pendulum mechanic. So that was partially my fault in doing that. Popping the Mithrilium wasn't the best idea either. He's just going to be able to replace it with another Metalfoe. And I get rid of the counter first, though. I do that right. I set up the counter correctly, hit the counter first in the chain link, and then hit the Mithrilium last, so he doesn't get the ability to chain the counter, because counter will die first. So I was able to set that up right. And now I've got Bahamut Shark, Toad, a Megalo, and a Teus. Overlay those two for a Red Ice Flare, and then summon Megalo by discarding Gun and Teus. And I attribute off the Teus with the Megalo to attack twice with it, get rid of his 2 Metalfoes, and swing into his 2 other set monsters. Not able to attack with Squall of Bahamut, of course, because of the restriction it has. And right here's where I pretty much just lose the Pendulum mechanic, because I was just not thinking. Should have popped the Pendulum Scales. I don't know why I didn't. Looking back now, I realize this mistake a lot more. Definitely should have popped the at least one of the scales. But he does have a counter in Grave, so whether that would have mattered too much is totally up in the air. Because if I would have popped one of the scales, he would have just had the ability to add back any of them. Because it probably still would have went to hit the counter, so he wouldn't have been able to summon off anything when I attacked into it. But he's going to Pendulum summon a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot, as he goes for double Volflame, Kirin, and hesitating on the Gold Driver, but it goes for the Bambuku instead. So, going to be able to get a search off that, and you will take 500 for, I think, the first attempt effect activation when you want to burn off the Mizuchi. He'll take 500 for that because the effect still resolves under Mizuchi, and that is enough to trigger Red Eye's Flare, and he'll take another 500 off that. As he swings in for Battle Face, you're going over the Toad, and I think that's all he can end up getting rid of. Add back a Dragoons, crashes with the Megalo, and bounces back the Red Eye's Flare with the Kirin. And main phase 2 pops the combination with Abysmagear, setting another combination, adding a gold driver to hand. So getting those pluses real easily, setting other card face down, and it's Vanity's Emptiness. And at this point, it's pretty much game over as you watch me struggle to even do anything as I attempt to swing. And of course, yeah, like that's going to go through with the Kirin on board. So I just set one and pass. So yeah, but one thing I also wanted to address is that I'm going to be trying to, I know there's been a long string of duel videos that have gone up over the past week, and I've been trying to just go up one a day, just so you guys get some consistent content. I'm working on trying to not just have strings of discussions and featured archetypes and duel videos. I hopefully will be able to, in the next coming weeks, get a nice variety, but it also depends on if there's any archetypes or discussions that I want to do that are available to me at the moment. And I do want to try to get a varying amount of deck profiles. Yeah, just losing outright to that Vanities with an Aqua Spirit and Instant Fusion hand really sucks. Drawing into the Teus, definitely not what I wanted to see, but I don't want to keep posting the same deck profiles over and over again, which I kind of have been doing, but they've been warranted because they've been needed an update, and they're the decks that I play the most. I'll try to definitely get more test hand videos up, because those I'm okay with those being repetitive because they're just a nice consistent series that I like to do, and you guys seem to like them as well. So I'll try to be recording a bunch of test hand videos for trains, Mermails, DDDs, all that, you name it. We're trying to get more duels, and I'll try to get a couple of featured archetypes along the way. If you guys have any ideas for archetypes that you want to see me cover and feature archetype, by all means, post in the comments. You guys can help me out with this. If there's an archetype that I haven't covered that you want to see me cover, just a general broad view of that archetype, like you saw with True Kings or Wind Witches, like I said, just let me know in the comments right now if you want to, or even on the feature archetype videos. Just let me know. I probably should say that more often. I used to, but I kind of just gave up on it because there was no feedback. But if you guys got feedback, by all means, leave it down in the comment section below. And back to the game here. You thought a Kirin Emptiness was hard to out. How about a Kirin Crystal Wing? But this I end up being able to deal with a lot easier because I can special summon. That's why I hate Vanity's Emptiness so damn much. He does negate the Teus though with the Crystal Wing, and the marksman, god damn it, the infantry ends up going through to get rid of the Crystal Wing to leave room for the Diva. Of course, he doesn't want to Kirin back the Diva on summon because it'll still get the effect, but he does Kirin away the Neptibus on summon. Doesn't wait till you use the effect, but doesn't realize I have a 1-for-1 in my hand, so there's no real way he could have done that, or known that I would have had another way to get a Neptibus on board before using effects, assuming that as soon as that Neptibus hit the board, that Diva would be my only normal summon, thus literally stranding me without a play to make. Pop a scale this time, but it's met with a counter activation, and I quickly go for a Moulin Glacia to knock the last two cards out of his hand, which I think was an MST and some other card. But right now, it's pretty much GG. I leave the Diva because I already tributed for cost to attack twice. Almost did it a second time. Swing over the Zulkin with the Diva with 200 attack, and swing in for game with the double attacking Megalo and the Dragoon. So GG in that one. It was pretty easy to out the Crystal Wing and the Kirin. You see me open up Book of Eclipse again this game, which is good. So I'm ready to deal with any of that Mad Spectre Kirin BS, because Book of Eclipse is so good. And the other thing is, against Vanity's Emptiness, Book of Eclipse is just so much better than Kaiju's, because your Kaijus are useless under Vanities. If they got you in a Vanities lock with a card like Kirin, and you've got Kaijus, those aren't going to do you anything. Obviously, if they have the one of Vanity's Emptiness, you know, it's a different story. But usually if they do and you've sided in your kaijus for that specific card, and obviously it's a good idea and you're not really expecting to always lose the one of vanities, but it does happen more often than you would think, at least in my personal experience. Book of Eclipse just comes in far more clutch, in my opinion, because it does allow you to get cards on board that you can normal summon that Kieran wouldn't just completely get rid of. And then you see me resolving a Moray of Greed, putting back an Marksman and a, I think it was an Aqua Spirit. So putting back the dead cards, drawing into a Book of Eclipse, and going for the 1-for-1 play. Summoning out Neptibus, sending Dragoons, adding 2 copies of Marksman to my hand. So I'm going to try to abuse the effect of Marksman here to really just end up picking at his set cards. One of them is a warning, though, so stop the Megalo. And I hit the 2 other set cards, and there's a combination that is being activated. Going for Norden, reviving no other than Atlantean Dragoons to go for no other than your Squalo Bahamut. Detaching the Dragoons, summoning your Totally Awesome, and then I go for a Search, which is going to give me a Diva. Haven't normal summoned yet this turn, so it's going to come in real clutch. And did make a slight change in the extra deck before this game, and that was adding a Crystron Quandax and a rare fish to the extra deck. But the thing is, since I did that, there's no Herald of Ultimate, not Herald of Ultimatus, but Herald the Arclight in the extra deck. Which, at this point, I was kind of wishing I had that card back in the extra deck. Things I did cut, one was Spider Shark, and the other was Moonlight Rose Dragon, I think. Although I'm not entirely sure. No, I cut Herald, and I cut 37 for the Rare Fish and the Quandax. But right now, I was kind of wishing I cut Rare Fish for the Herald, because Herald would have came in much, much more clutch at this point. Here, I didn't really know what I wanted to negate with Tree Toad. Been a while since I've ended up playing. At this point, you know, I know you guys have seen the most recent duel video, which was yesterday. But that was, I think, about a week ago when that was actually played out. So been a while since I've actually played IRL duels. Probably should have negated the painful decision, but I think he may or may not have a counter engrave. I'm not entirely sure. Not going to negate the effect, and I thought he was activating the effect of one of his scales there to pop the combination. I'm like, if you do that, boy, you really screwed up, because I'm going to take away your scales and set it to my side of the field, but he doesn't, just placing it in the scale. And I don't know if Tree Toad can stop that, which is a good question that I have. If your opponent just places a pendulum scale, and apparently, I've had judges tell me that a Mizuchi, let's say your opponent places a pendulum scale, Mizuchi has to negate that. Even though it's technically not activating effect, it's still a spell card that's being played, so it technically has to negate it. I don't know if Toad would get the ability to do that. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't, so maybe I'm just overthinking it. But if anyone wants just to confirm what I'm saying, please feel free to do so in the comments. But he's got a Mithrilium and a Kieran on board, bouncing back the... I think he should have bounced back the Quandax, which I don't know why that went to my graveyard. But it really doesn't matter if it doesn't go back to the extra deck, because the game is pretty much over at this point. So don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure he did want to bounce that mid-battle phase, so I don't know why I put it in the graveyard. Must have just not been paying attention. But it won't matter, because Dark Hole won't save me, because, you know, Mad Specters are busted. And Neptibus won't save me either, because he'll bounce that back as well. And that's going to do it. Metalfoes will take the match 2-1. A little bit of questionable plays on my part, but oh well. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. And if you got comments, or not comments, but suggestions for featured archetypes, if you want to get back to me on those ruling questions, that'd be great. Really do appreciate your guys' support in the comments. As always, it does mean a lot. You guys do help me out a lot with a lot of the stuff. And I hope I help you guys out with a lot of stuff as well. We got a kind of a back and forth relationship. I do like it. You guys are awesome. Really do appreciate the support. Coming up on 3,400 subscribers. Thank you again so much for the support. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. And yeah, Winter Kills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.